be in heaven. These are baptized New Testament believers. And they believe in the Word of God. And if you love the people that are in here, you're going to like heaven. But if you don't like the people in here, you're not going to like. If you don't like drug eating, you don't like heaven. Because he's as close to heaven as I know how you get for a person. Is he sinless? No, man. He sins. Do you sin? Who doesn't sin in here? When you pick a friend, how do you pick a friend? How do you pick a friend?
Your son taught a class about friendship last quarter. That was one of our topics, Chris. And he was pointing out the different types of friends. Friend can mean a lot of things to people. It can be someone you just do something with. You know, you've got a friend that bowls with you or plays golf with you. You have friends that are friends because you work together. Maybe you eat lunch together every day. But the friendship with God is deeper than that, in that it's based on our affinity for God, for His Word, for His people, and the things that He stands for. But as people, we're to be friendly with, you know, people wherever we are. But the deep friendships that go on, that involve commitment and lifelong choices, it's so wonderful to have those that are members of the Lord's church, because you have that in common, the desire to go to heaven. And you were mentioning there about peer pressure. Almost everybody here believes in peer pressure. Most of the parents in here spend hundreds of dollars putting their kids in camps where they'll be around other Christians, and they'll be around the teachers and even the older students that have become Christians and are trying to serve Him. So we do that with our Bible classes. We want to create positive peer pressure.
Anybody else have a comment? You tell on yourself. What you do and your actions tell a lot about you, doesn't it? You tell on yourself by the friends you have, by the very manner by which you speak. I'd be around somebody 5 minutes and they're using this cuss word and that cuss word and this nasty joke. You know a lot about them, don't you? When you get up to preach in a brand new place, I've used this before. I say, I don't know anybody in here, but I know a lot about all of you. I know a lot about all of you. I don't know you, but I know who you are. You don't drink, you don't gamble, you don't cuss. You don't run around with wild women. You know, you just.
How do you know that, Phil?
They're Christians. They're Christ.
It's a walk of life, right?
Yeah.
It's a walk. That's where we're going.
And the same thing Paul wrote in one book, he's writing another one, same thing. I wrote the same thing to every church. So if he said, don't commit adultery, what does that mean? There's something that bothers me, and I'll ask you this class. Is fornication and sexual immorality the same thing? In Matthew 19:19, fornication is one thing, but sexual immorality is something else. Are we? How do we explain that, or do we? Is sexual immorality the same thing as fornication?
They're both sin.
Huh?
They're both sin.
They're both sin. But we know what fornication is. Do we know what sexual immorality is? I did not. Do we know what that means? Is that fornication?
Fornication is actually sex, I believe.
Huh?
And fornication is actually sex, and that is the only reason why you can put your spouse away is if they commit fornication. Is that correct?
Yeah, you commit fornication.
Much like adultery. Is adultery the same as fornication?
No.
No. So you got sexual immorality, fornication, adultery, almost components that was underneath the broad term of sexual immorality. Sexual immorality then covers some other things.
That's a good private study. To find out, are we gonna be judged on sexual immorality or fornication? Is fornication a little worse than sexual immorality?
Well, I think what Max says is probably correct. Sexual immorality is more of an umbrella term that includes fornication, adultery, and other things, sins that we even see in our society today, like pedophiles and homosexuality and so on.
I think the point that was hit on back here, though, is that there's only one cause for divorce, and that is adultery. And that's where a spouse goes against another. That's what the Bible says. There's only one cause.
Is it adultery or fornication? Is the one called fornication or adultery?
Look at the terminology. I think it has to be a married person that's committing a sexual act with another person, whether they're married or unmarried. Typically, fornication was titled to cover the whole line, anybody, including those that aren't married or have been married, I think. But again, like you said, maybe it's a private study after all.
What does this have to do with friends?
Don't get
If you find your wife committing fornication, then you don't have a friend. You know, and it has nothing to do with it, really. I'm about close to that. Brent was Sunday when we went to those grams that he grew. It had nothing to do with the flag, but I learned a lot. Brent's a good teacher, and he's a good man. He raised a good family. Some people like him, some people don't like him.
As long as Marshall likes me, I'm good.
Forget, we introduced Brent, this is for your information. We introduced Brent as our second preacher 7 or 8 years ago. I was doing the announcement that Sunday. Brent gets up after I got through making the announcement. And he said, there's one way you can tell men feel apart. One way. I don't have any hair. And I thought, we got a good man here. We got a good man here. You got a pretty wife, pretty daughter, old mess.
You said with some enthusiasm. Howdy, howdy.
Friend sticks closer than what?
Brother.
How does that happen?
Pick your friends. Pick your friends. Pick your friends.
I got you.
Yeah. So, a lot of times, good friends will be there with you through thick and thin. Like you said earlier, you call somebody, tell them you're south of Chicago, and they're on their way. Call your brother, he may be like, you're on your own, good luck.
Is that what Ryan would do to you, or you would do to Ryan?
Yeah, I definitely do that to Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In order to have friends, what do you have to do? Be friendly. You gotta be friendly. You can't say, well, I don't like to play over there, they're not very friendly. What does that mean?
You're not making the effort.
They're not making any effort because this is a friendly congregation. And how do we combat it? You know, we have that all the time. We like to you because y'all are very friendly. Well, we are friendly, but we tell the truth in love. And that's the reason we're, a man who repeats a matter separates friends. What does that mean?
Gossip.
Gossip.
You reveal a confidence to someone.
Yeah. Did you hear about old so-and-so? Let me tell you what I heard. There's a lot of that goes on, is it not? Is that right or wrong? Brother Diane Papa Van, she's been my friend for many years. But if you find something that you've been told in confidence, you try to get it out of her. Here's what that little big eye. We're not that kind of people.
There was a question in there, I don't have access to my book, but I thought it was an interesting question. I'd like to hear some thoughts about, sometimes we're closer to our Christian friends or our friends than we are our biological family. What causes that? I have my thoughts, but you know what I'm trying to say? And I've made that statement myself, that sometimes I'm closer to a friend than I am my sister. And then I think, well, that was not a kind thing to say.
Are y'all closer to some friends than you are your brother or your sisters?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you closer to some of your kin folks than you are your mother and your daddy? Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. But
To address Sandy's question, I think it has to do with time spent together and your interests. Sometimes we spend more time with our brethren and have closer interests than we do with our physical brothers or sisters.
That's Proverbs 18:24, the last half of it says, there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother.
You can also have closer friends from the vantage point of if your parents or your family are not believers, and they don't have that same spiritual focus. If they're friends of the world, James 4:4 says that we can't be friends of the world and friends of God.
did the Lord ever become angry?
Yes.
Y'all remember where?
Turned over the tables twice.
Well, that's the only verse I ever remember using, but it's not the only verse. I was reading, when I was studying this, I was reading Mark 3 and verse 5. Mark 3 and verse 5. You know, they were out on the Sabbath day doing things that they thought you shouldn't do. And the Lord got angry with them. Read that, somebody read that.
And he looked at them with anger, grieved at their hardness of heart, and he said to the man, stretch out your hand. He stretched it out, and his hand was restored.
God healed on the Sabbath. You know you could do things on the Sabbath. Did he say not to do this on the Sabbath? When the Sabbath family, they kept the Sabbath. And that shocked me. Have you ever thought about that verse? He became angry. That's not wrathful, is it? When you perceive that a man makes no effort to control his temper, quit associating with him. Get away from that guy. If he makes no effort to control his temper, move on down the road. He'll get in trouble. constant association with those involved in sin weakens one's resistance and makes one more susceptible to sin. I read something in our class, in our book, that, I've been looking for it for a while. A sinner, his job is trying to get other people to sin with him. Did y'all remember reading that? When one feels low, associated with friends does what?
Brightens your spirit.
Brightens your spirit, yeah. How many of you have walked in a room where nobody's smiling? And they got a little baby here, and that baby is doing all of this, doesn't say a word. And you look around and everybody in the room is smiling. Why? The baby's perfect. We just want to smile at people that are happy, and those babies are kicked and, you know. What is the meaning of woe? Woe. If you're on a farm, it might mean something different. Whoa.
Spell
W-O-E.
it. Okay, not W-H-O-A. W-H-O-A is woe at the farm.
Yeah, the farm, W-H-O-A.
Danger,
Huh?
danger.
Danger.
Well, that's the word.
Yeah.
Danger. It's slow.
I thought even maybe shameful. I mean, woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. You know, that when Jesus talked to them.
What are some advantages of having friends? What are some of the advantages of having friends?
Have someone to talk to, someone to share things with, someone to make you laugh, someone to help you with that.
Do we have a lot of pleasure in having friends?
Yes.
One of God's great gifts to man is when a man is able to make friends and they're enjoyable to be around. You got people that are your friends. What? Does somebody want to tell about a friend they've had that you wouldn't trade for nothing? Does everybody have a friend that would do anything for you and you do anything for him? It doesn't have to be an old friend. Everybody have a friend like that. You got any friends like that? What if you just could pick one friend that says, he is my friend? Could you do that? Abraham was a friend for God. Moses was a friend of God. And he talked to God face to face as a man speaks to his friends. And God told him, thou hast found grace in my sight, and I know thee by name. I'd like to know the Lord by name. I mean, he know you by name. I always felt like when I got in a class when the teacher knew.
We're in trouble.
Oh, in trouble. Oh, in trouble. You know.
Well, in Amos 3:3 it says, can two walk together unless they are agreed, right?
Right.
Which is very interesting because when you think about a friend, can two walk together unless they be agreed? You're not friends with anybody that you disagree with and you're at odds with. When you talk about Abraham and Moses being friends with God, in John, I believe 14 or 15, he says, you are my friend if you keep my commandments, right? What made Abraham God's friend, what made Moses God's friend, is that they were agreed with him. God didn't have to agree with them, they agreed with God. And so when we see in John 15:14 or 14:15 or something around there, it's you are my friend if you keep my, if we can agree with God and keep his commandments because we recognize who he is, as his son does, we can too also be friends of God. So when we're not friends of God, it's because we say, well, look, man, I don't want to agree with you. You agree with me because I want my way. And that's where this thing gets off track of being a good friend or truly being a friend of God.
That's a good comment. You tell a lot about yourself when you laugh at different people's jokes. Can you? Yeah. By the records you play on the phonograph, can you tell? Does that tell a lot about yourself?
First off, we still have a record player. I mean, we got one. It's an antique. But if y'all still got one, y'all still playing records. I want to know what collection you got.
I remember when we were kids, and I was watching all this wrestling on TV. Y'all remember those days? Man, you was supposed to watch Elvis. Yeah, wouldn't let you. You can tell what by the way you walk. I don't think I understand that too good. You can tell a lot about yourself by the way you walk, by the things which you delight in to talk. You can tell a lot about a person by the way whether he is, by the way he bears defeat. By the simple thing over how you eat. Can you tell a lot about a person by the way he eats? Come on. Huh? Can you? I don't know about that. By so simple. By the books you choose from the well-filled shelf. Can you tell a lot about a person by the way he reads? How about John Grisham? Is that okay? I like it. By these ways and more we can tell you by the way you employ or leave your time, laziness. What you gotta do to be lazy, John?
Nothing.
If you do nothing, can you get to heaven?
No.
You can't get to heaven by doing nothing. You gotta do something to get to heaven. By the use you make of a dollar and a dime, you tell a lot about a person. You can tell what your feelings are. Let's see. You tell what you are by the things you wear. Can you do that?
Think of the stuff scrawled across your shirt.
Yeah. If you got Scott up there waiting on the table, and he's got a big old wide belt that says Budweiser on the front of it. Would that be appropriate?
You gotta be careful about judging people, especially by the way that they look.
He could work at Budweiser.
Might be the name of his dog.
I was looking at more some of the words that people scrawl on shirts and things, and you can tell their attitude and their approach by it. If they've got immoral words, I think you're right, you have to watch as far as being and saying, well, because that person looks this particular way, they're this way or that way. And two, they may be a young Christian and just haven't learned some of the things that, again, tend to show an outward appearance of things that are not aligned with They're more aligned with the world than they are with God. That's a good point.
Yeah, we had a young man that did that one time. He was, well, no, you appreciate it. He's wearing these things that were inappropriate. And was, so he couldn't wear those things and wearing stuff like that. We just stopped it. And he explained to him why. He should have known better.
What about, yeah,
But we had a guy in Denver, Colorado. He worked for Coors. He worked in the factory.
yeah,
So he was buying and selling oil and gas. He was buying and selling oil and gas to supply them with gas.
But the wrong business.
Well, again, he was buying and selling oil and gas.
I feel like he found a place where he don't know if he had
well, that
And ultimately,
means
he did. But he started out, again, he had a job with Coors. It was a good job. He worked at, and he made sure what he tried to do that's good. And then ultimately he broke out and started selling oil and gas on his own. I'm not sure that they still weren't a customer. Just like Paul said, you can't go out of the world. But we have to shape our lives as far as our best friends.
has that bell rung?
Make sure the seats are filled with you solid if you want
That's a
to.
long flags, boy.
Dismiss it.
I've been through 2 lessons here. There's so much you can say about friends. Right, Alex?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do on Wednesday night?
I don't know. Think about that.
Talk about friends.
Talk about Job. How about Job's friends? Do you have friends?
No.
Not even his wife, huh?
No. You got any friends like we were discussing? You got any friends like we were discussing?
Yes, but
Yeah, but I don't know if I go south of Chicago.
The master plan for me to go full time.